Welcome to Kowski's Talking About Life podcast. I am your host, Ian Lepkowski, and as always, we start the show with gratitude. We start the show with gratitude for our guest. Today, our guest is Deb Bowman. No guest, no show, so we're very happy to have Deb here. We also are grateful to the audience. If nobody's listening, then what's the point of the show? And then lastly, we're also grateful to God, Spirit, Source, Energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that links everything together. If you so do believe, we are grateful for that force in our life. But beyond that, let's get started. We always start the show with passion and positivity. So, Deb, what are you most passionate about, and what are you positive about?
I am so excited about helping people gain more abundance in their life. As we know, money is one of the biggest blocks for some people. And so helping people overcome them in whatever form that may be is just such a powerful, I just love those problems. When people come to me with money problems that I can help fix, it just feels so good. It's just an amazing journey that I've been on.
So, when you talk about abundance, you're mainly talking about abundance, like financial abundance?
No, I actually loop abundance into everything. So overall, how is your entire life, from all the aspects? And then from there, you can divide it into different abundance scales based on money or, your career or all the different areas. I also, put a whole bunch of stuff on scales, but it's really good to have an overall abundance scale of, I do it from 0 to 10. And so creating a 10 life, what would be your 10 life is what I'm passionate about, helping people create their ideal life or getting on the path to being on your 10 life.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you did start with money. You could start there. You could pick another topic. You said when people come to you with these sort of problems, you're really excited to fix them. What are some of the problems people are coming to you with, and how do you fix them?
Sure. One of the most common is people overspending. Literally, we have I think that's probably the number one problem, and usually it comes in the form of credit card debt. So if you have any kind of credit card debt, you're probably looking at overspending. And the way I do the analysis for the overspend is around, you take how much you have on credit card debt. So let's say it's 10,000. How long did it take you to get to that 10,000 of credit card debt? And then you know how much you've been overspending for how long. And so literally then you have your little formula of how much you got to decrease your spending by. Or maybe you can actually attribute it to, I was like, emotionally I bought XYZ or whatever. So, sometimes you can actually just thinking about your credit card, where did you get it from? How did it come about? Sometimes it's actually, a lifestyle you're living above your means, and you have to literally figure out. And that's what I do with people. I really sit down and help them create a budget. Through budget, there's just so much freedom and abundance. It's really wonderful.
So basically, when people are overspending, these are people who have no budget. They're just kind of free willing their their amount of money they think they can spend to compared to the amount of money they're earning,
Yes.
and it's just they're trying to go with the force and just guess it, and
I
it's
guess,
just
do
it's
I
not
do I
working
have
out.
enough money to swipe this card today? Is it going to go through? There's a lot of people out there that do the swiping stress. Cross my fingers, it's going to go through.
Right.
One of my clients, high income earner, or I think a fairly high income earner of 200,000 a year, literally came to me where they couldn't buy coffee on Tuesday because their account was negative, and they had to wait for Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they were literally a 1 on the abundance scale, and it took a long time to get them so that they could. So literally, when I work with people and they come to me at a really low level, below 5, anyone who's below 5 has to work on getting up to 5, because mindset is everything. You know that, I know that, and teaching mindset is so important. So when people come to me and they're below 5 on the abundance scale, we do gratitude. And we do all kinds of mindset work to make them believe that they can actually have an abundant life, because they don't believe it right now. They're just not, in that space of there's more than enough. Right now, they're saying there's just not enough. And getting to a place where, yes, there's enough. Now there's more than enough. Really helping people transition to that level of abundance is so much fun. And that person that couldn't buy coffee on Tuesday now has over 100,000 in savings and
Oh wow.
loves life, and just, yeah,
Since
really.
Tuesday.
Yeah, well, it took many years. We're talking many years to go from,
It
not having
wasn't last Tuesday, I take
yeah,
it.
yeah, no, it wasn't last Tuesday, but definitely it's been a long journey but everybody does it at a different pace. I've had clients come to me, put together a budget, and they're like, they just get it. They just, someone gives them a system and they're like, most people can handle a system. You know what I mean? So once you give people a system, a tool, nobody teaches you to do a budget. They just say have one bank account, flow everything through it, and you're fine. And
Right.
that's just, such the wrong way to do it. Well, that's not true. Some people can manage it that way. Some people have a brilliant brain and can actually have everything flow through one funnel and they're perfectly fine. But a majority of people need many accounts and ways to budget their money and get to the right place. So
Right. And you find, so once you do get these people a budget, is it kind of like it just clicks for them, or is there still sometimes like resistance, like even when someone has a budget, getting them to follow that budget or to be aware of the budget or to
Mhm.
look at the budget constantly compared to what they're actually spending? I mean, how easy is it to implement a budget for, most people that are coming?
I would say it's a mixed bag. I mean, so it's like as different as people. But the interesting part with money is it's so fully loaded, and it's usually a symptom of other things. So we usually figure out what the other thing is that's blocking their money. Some common things that can happen is some people have had their trauma mixed up with their money. So, like the trauma response, instead of it happening over here, it's happening with their money. So, every time something's going on with money, they don't want to look at their money because then they have to look at their trauma. They take their unsafeness in the world and apply it to money. So, really, sometimes it's me unconnecting some of those things and helping them go back to counseling and deal with some of the other issues, but disconnecting money from it so that money can be safe to look at. It's going to feel good to look at your money. So, those are some of the things that can happen after we create a budget or on the way to creating a budget because we can't get there because there's other trauma or other emotional things that are stuck involved in their money. Um,
Now that sounds a little bit more difficult. How do you dewire trauma from a financial mindset? How
Mhm.
does it get there in the first place, so to speak, and then how do you work backwards from that?
It's a lot of trust and conversation and working with the abundance scale because I really find that if you're doing the daily assessments of where you're at on the abundance scale, you know where you're at. And I teach people to do 1% better every day. So it's literally if I am a 5 on the abundance scale, I'm going to figure out a way for you to get to 5.1. That's the only thing we need to do. Really small baby steps. What is the next thing that's going to make you feel better, give you some relief, help you feel a little bit more joy? Those are the things that we really, are trying to. And so it's just baby steps. We're taking baby steps every day. And when you're doing that self-assessment that you've been ignoring, literally most people just ignore their money and just hope and pray everything works fine over there. And so when you actually get some conscious thought and somebody who's safe to talk to, there's no judgment here. I've seen it all. you know I've seen it all. And you'd be surprised how many people have enough money that they just aren't managing it properly. Is what it really comes down to. It's more of a management or skill set that's missing than anything else. So really helping them, give them some boundaries with money. One of my favorite ones recently is she's a scientist and she's very black and white. So once I told her this is your budget, it's all right. Now I have a way to determine whether I can buy something or not.
Right.
Whereas before she was like, I can buy anything I want. There really was no limit. So hence the credit cards, hence the debt, because she just had no limits. But when someone said, hey, no, this is what you have to live within, or these are the choices you have to make. Do which choices are more important for you? Do you want to buy clothes for yourself and some other stuff, or would you rather fund your kids 529s? So, making those decisions really helps people make better choices for themselves and their family.
Now, you've referenced a few times here the abundance scale being 1% better. Do you want to just kind of flesh out like what exactly is the abundance scale or go a little bit deeper into it? Is it like from 1% to 100%? Is it 1 to 10? Like,
Yeah,
what exactly is the abundance
yeah,
scale?
the abundance scale is just it's your scale. So I literally, tell people to make it their own. So it's not about me. So sometimes people Like I've had people say, my top number, Debbie, is going to always be 8 because 10 is just perfect and nobody ever gets to perfect. No, that's fine. This is your scale. If you want to make it so that 8 is the top number, 8 is the top number. That's fine. Some people do it as a battery, a meta, whatever percentage. But I like to think of it 0 to 10. And the tenths, I do tenths. That's just who I am. Literally, there is no rules except I've created this little mechanism of anybody who's below 5 on the abundance scale does not get to create a budget with me. We do only mindset work. We can't because they won't believe me. If you're negative, if you're in a negative mindset and I create this awesome budget for you, you just won't believe it'll work, right?
Right.
They just don't have what's the positivity or the glass half full mentality. So we got to wait till we get to a 6, a solid 6, and then we can start doing things. We don't want to do anything until they're like feeling really good about life and overall the picture of life for them.
So how do you do that? So like if we talked about if they do believe in a budget or they're above the 5, we talked about how you can kind of help improve a person's finances. How do you improve a person's mindset? How do you get them out of the ditch they're in so you can even get them to the place where they believe in a budget?
Yeah, it just depends on the person. Some people can bounce really quick up the scale because it just really depends on the person. I've had people that take a year to get to 5, and we literally just slowly find books or resources or songs or whatever it takes. Like I love, for me, my 2 favorite points for 2024 that I'm teaching to everybody. It's all about me and 1% better. And so I love the song I Love Me by Megan Trainor. So literally dancing and singing to that song just literally just lifts me up and causes me to have, just an amazing attitude. So I try to find songs that fit that person. I mean, the I Love Me song is for me. So it could be for someone else too, but really finding what song is it that's going to lift you up, that's just going to bring you that 1% better that day. So those are some of the tricks and tools. And I've been a coach for 20 years. I'm a self-help guru. I have so many tools in my toolkit that I can share. One that I love is Tapping with Brad on YouTube. He has like over 800 videos of its EFT tapping. And it's just a wonderful tool where you can go there and just literally put his video on and follow what he does. And I promise you, do your abundance scale before you do the tapping and then after you do the tapping, and you'll be amazed at how much it helps lift you up. So it's pretty powerful.
Now I'm sure people are wondering, what is EFT?
Emotional freedom technique, and it's literally tapping. So you tap above your eyes, side of your eyes, under your nose, on your chin, on your chest, under your arms, and on your head. So it's all there's acupuncture points. So there's a science behind it. The other book I loved was The Tapping Solution by Nick Orter. That's the other book that I did. But if you want something simple and don't have to read a book, just go to Tapping with Brad. He's amazing. So
So you said EFT is emotional
technique.
freedom tapping. So this would be like an acupressure, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
type of deal.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's really cool. But and then there's heart math. I love heart math. That's another whole thing with heart rate variability. Some of our phones these days actually can measure your stress levels through heart rate variability. And there's a whole book on heart math. What are some other tools? So I have a toolkit for everybody. So we just literally talk about it and figure out what makes them feel good. Are they, movement is another one, breathing is another one. There's just so many avenues to lift somebody's energy up to a 5 or a 6 on the abundance scale.
Great. So I'm hearing there's a lot of different tools. You got to be above a 5 to kind of get in the game, so to speak. We started off talking about finances, but you definitely mentioned that it's not just finance. What are the other avenues or what are the major areas of focus that you help people with abundance besides finance once they're over that 5?
So it's literally about creating a life you love. And so like my little teacup here, this is my joy factor. I mean, so every day I come to the office and I make myself pots of tea and I drink it all day long because it just adds to my days. Sometimes it's not the big things that matter, it's the little things. So drinking from my teacup just gives me that little bit of, I guess life is so great. Instead, because we need that. We need those reminders. We need to constantly have things that around us that feel good. Like you can see my VFriend cards, and I literally have, this is my accountable aunt, signed by Gary. So, so
Hey,
it's just one of those things where you have, you just create a life full of joy. What can, looking around your room, if you don't see things that fill you up, that's what you need to do. You need to work on things that just remind you of how incredible life is, and how positive, things can be. Because we've all had our dark times. Dark times, it's going to rain, and you have to make sure that you have an umbrella. How can you build your umbrella to help you through those times?
but I'm still kind of wondering here, like, so what are the other? Are there major avenues of focus? Like is nutrition part of it? Like sleep, like that type of thing,
Absolutely.
or
I love a program called PFC3, and they talk about the six spinning plates that you need to have. So we have sleep, nutrition. Let's see if we can do them all. Stress management, which I convert into my abundance scale. There's supplements. Let's see. Um,
supplements like
Vitamins and
vitamins?
stuff. Yes, correct. Yeah, I fully believe no matter even if you're eating well, there's still probably you need specific supplements to help you. I'm a big believer in high protein, so sometimes it's easier to get it through supplements. Uh, Protein drinks or bars. The other spinning plate, water is so essential. Making sure you're getting enough water. I can't tell you how many people I find out they're dehydrated. And then there's one more. What one am I missing? Sleep. It'll come to me. Which one am I missing?
While you're thinking of the one you're missing, do you want to do? I mean, you did like a kind of a skim off the top. Do you want to do like a mini deep dive into each of
Sure.
the other
All right,
ones
that's a
and
good
kind of
idea. Then
explain?
probably will come back to me. So sleep is
Yeah.
so critical. I think.
How much sleep do we need, or is it
Oh,
different
I'd
for
say it's different
everybody?
for everybody. I think they say what it's like 6 to 8 hours, somewhere in that range. I love using personally. I use my phone to track how well my sleep is. So I would encourage people to find some kind of a device. I'm a big
Do you have like an
Yeah,
app for
yeah. Well,
that,
I just
or
use
pay
I have a
for it?
Samsung phone, so I use my Samsung app to do the sleep app. But definitely, getting a good night's sleep is going to be one of those things where you can recharge your abundance scale big time. And doing the daily self-assessment, you're going to know if you're a 1 or a 2 and you haven't had a good night's sleep, you know, go take a nap, go do something that's going to help you feel better. I promise you that sleep is one of those items. And I understand that people have difficulty sleeping too. So it's a baby step improvement. Again, so if that's an area of problem, I would put it on a scale and do baby steps every day to try to get a little bit better in your sleep. With water, I believe in um, I think I'm drinking about, I don't even know. Now I don't even pay attention because I just do it. Let's see. I would just look up I think you're supposed to drink your body weight in ounces if I remember right, something like that. But I have my set plan. But most people just don't drink enough. And I would say double it. If whatever you're currently drinking, um, it's just not enough. And especially, I'll be disgusting here if some people will be upset, but if you're not pooping every day, you got a problem, seriously. And you're not drinking enough water, in my opinion. And that may
Right.
lean into the supplements. So you might need some probiotics or, something that can help you with your whole gut digestion.
But also, don't drink too much water, right?
I'm not an expert in that arena, so I'll let the other people decide. Let's just say that this is where you need to be your own nutrition coach and figure out
Yeah.
how much is it that you need. Uh,
Yeah, because I'll just throw this out there for anyone listening. You can drink too much water. I was on the side of not drinking enough water. Then I got this like 1.5 liter bottle of water, and I would be filling it throughout the day. And for a while I was doing fine, but I drink a lot, and people will remark I drink fast, I drink a lot, whatever it is. I drink. I'm like a fish kind of thing in the water. I'm just taking it all in. And I guess I was increasing how much water I was drinking every day. And at a certain point, I kept drinking more and more water, and I just kept getting more and more
oh,
thirsty. And my whole tongue turned white and dry, and it was like sandpaper, and it was like scratching the roof of my mouth, and it was horrible. So I look up online, like, what is this from? And it's like you're dehydrated. And then I'm like, well, how can I, I'm trying to like search. I'm like, well, how can I be dehydrated? I have like a ridiculous amount of water. I'm drinking like several times a day. I'm drinking 1.5 liters of water. And I found that you could actually drink so much water that you dilute the amount of
Oh,
electrolytes and sodium in your body, and then your body is no longer holding on to the water. And the more water you drink, the worse you're actually making it
oh
for
wow.
yourself. So I'll just throw that out there as a
Yes,
caveat
you need
because
to be careful.
a lot of people don't drink enough water, but I went from not drinking enough and then I drank too much.
Abundance. You're
Um,
too much abundance.
it's kind of funny here. I have this gum that I have sometimes, so it's like electrolyte gum, so
Oh,
that makes sure
cool.
that if you are drinking, lots of water,
Oh,
it'll still not throw off your electrolyte count, or just to make sure you have sodium, make sure you have some sort of salty snacks. One thing before we move on to the next one, just touching back on naps. Just I've heard a lot of different things about naps. Is there like an ideal amount of napping? Because I've had that thing where it's like, all right, let me take a nap and it'll refresh me, and then it's like I take the nap and I just want to sleep for
I
another 8 hours,
know.
kind of thing.
Oh, well, everybody's,
Um,
see, this is why I don't prescribe one size fits all. Everyone really truly needs to do self-assessment. This is a whole, in my opinion, on your journey to 10, it's a self-assessment. What do you need? And I know instead of taking a nap, I just need to rest. And rest for me sometimes could mean um, uh, pulling up my favorite book and reading it for a little bit, or watching just a mindless show for a few minutes, can really, meditation can recharge me. So I don't actually necessarily need a nap, but I do need to calm the nervous system, whatever that means, whatever I got going on. I got maybe just, a busy day of meeting after meeting and I just need to stop. So everybody needs to really do your own self-assessment. And that's why I love the Bennett scale so much, because where am I at right now? I tend to do an energy scale, where am I at on my energy? And if I'm not a 10, why am I not on a 10? What do I need to do? What's the next step? And then, so we've talked about sleep, supplements, and water. So nutrition is next. I don't really want to prescribe.
Wait, do we talk about supplements? I feel like
Okay,
go
we can
deep into
talk more about
supplements.
supplements. Yeah. So, this is where you need to lean into experts. I am not an expert in supplementation by any stretch of the imagination, but I would definitely encourage people to seek out experts to find out what supplements you need. That's what I did. I went and I saw several nutritionists and had them look at what I was doing and make suggestions and make changes. So I would highly encourage supplementation and doing your own experiments on that, which drives right into the nutrition part, which I follow a program called PFC3, which is protein, fat, and carbs. That is the meal combination every 3 hours. So, and the protein and carbs is 20 grams of carbs and 20 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat. So that's the meal formula that I personally do, and it's to balance your blood sugar. You always want to do your protein first and then eat your carbs so that you can manage your blood sugar. So if your body doesn't have to constantly manage blood sugars, it's just gonna feel. It just made me feel so much healthier. So that's why I love the PFC3 formula. For me, has been amazing. So
So it's protein,
protein,
fat, and
fat, and carbs.
carbs,
Yep,
and then what was the
every
three?
3 hours. Eating every three
Oh,
hours.
okay.
So you can have as many meals as you're up. So you want to eat within an hour of waking up and then literally have those meals throughout the day. 3 to 4 hours is what they recommend. So if you're not hungry at 3 hours, you can wait till the 4 hours. If you're hungry at three, if you get hungry too early, then they suggest to do a half a meal to get you to your next 3 hour window, which is kind of cool. So I love it. It's just a great, for me, it was a journey into health, really creating health. And the PFC3 teaches 1% better, which I do too. I teach 1% better. So they teach 1% better in their course, and I teach 1% better as an abundance coach. It's such an aligned program for me, and I'm looking for the future to build a coaching program all around that, which is going to be really exciting.
Like a coaching program where you kind of intermingle your
hmm
coaching methods
You
with this
got it.
PFC
Yes. And
three.
so it'll be all about abundance. and creating an abundant life 1% better.
Interesting. Okay, so still going
Yep.
through the
Yep.
categories here. I think we were
Yep.
on supplements. You said to kind of know what supplements, you're gonna
Hmm.
have to do some
Yep.
research, kind of thing. You're gonna have to kind of get to know yourself and know your
Yep.
body. You recommend going through this PFC3 to kind of figure that
PFC3
out,
won't
or
actually it'll get you some of the supplements, but not all of them. Yeah. So you'll still need to find somebody that can help you with that on that journey.
who? How do you figure that out? How do you figure
That's a
that
good
part out?
question. I personally went to a couple nutritionists. Yeah, so if anybody's interested, they can get in touch with me, and I'll definitely recommend some people to you. Is what I would do. There's a lot of great nutritionists out there, and finding one that there's so many good people out there. It's really finding someone that you're in alignment with um, that can hear who you are and actually meet your needs. So that's what I would suggest. And that's for any professional that you need to go find, is finding someone who's in alignment with what you believe and what you need in your life. So that's how I would do it, to find the nutritionist.
Are there any supplements that like most people need? Like, should everybody be taking like a daily vitamin or like ashwagandha or like lion's mane or something? You know
I'm
what I
going to
mean? Like,
stick
is there
away.
any kind of like everyone?
I'd never group anybody into that category, into the everything. Everybody needs everything. No, no, no. I would, or any specific thing. I would definitely say, because I mean, I'm a 55-year-old woman with menopause, so what I need is totally different than what you need, Ian. So totally different. So there's no one size fits all. Wouldn't that be great if we could actually have this chemical magical formula that literally we took it and it actually gave us exactly what we needed? Oh, that would be so
That would be
amazing. The
great.
magic pill. That would be awesome.
All right. So moving on from
The
supplements, what's
next
the
one
next
would be
category here?
the next one is exercise. I mean, everybody needs to move. My profession as a CPA is a lot of sitting, and so I've been really working on my movement journey, and really finding it's not really exercise but movement. Whatever you can do. If walking is something that's accessible to you, just walk. Count your steps, get your steps in. Anything you can do to just increase your movement is amazing. Even as a desk job, I know that I can, you can do leg lifts, you can do a whole bunch of stuff just sitting at your desk. It's amazing when you really think about how much you can move, but we just choose not to. We can choose to be sedentary, and as they say, that sitting is the new smoking. That you really need to figure out how to move more. It's just so important. And movement actually, movement
So
I
even
guess you can relate it right to 1% better. You just want to get 1% better on your movement every day.
so even if you can't afford a
Yeah.
gym membership, that type of thing, it's not about that. It's about just doing, like you said, just moving your legs under your desk, picking them up, putting them down, doing some stretching, putting your arms above your
Yep.
head type of thing. Just doing whatever you can
Yeah,
and
and I
starting there,
love
right?
the app that I follow is called Agedify. She has a Patreon. Actually, it's Patreon. So inside Patreon, Agedify has a wonderful. She does 10-minute segments, and you can watch her daily for 10 minutes. So getting 10 minutes, I do it every day, a 10-minute movement exercise program. It's just fabulous. And she changes it up so it doesn't never gets boring. It's always something new. It's wonderful. So, but find something that fits you. Maybe you just want to do push-ups every day, or maybe you want to do, I love tiger slides. So maybe you do tiger slides. So you figure out what's going to bring you joy. Because if you go and do weightlifting and you hate it, that's just going to bring you down on your abundance scale. You want to find something that's going to make you feel good and feel positive and just add that energy into your life. So it's really a journey of finding what works for you and self-assessment. Because what is it all about? It's all about me and 1% better. Those are the two magic formulas for creating an abundant life.
All right. So now we've been through
Yep.
hydration,
Yep.
right? Sleep,
Yep.
supplements, and
Yep.
then I
So
think
you
there
missed
were five.
nutrition, and then the last one is managing stress. But I changed. Yes,
Oh,
6. So
six
from
fitting
managing
plates, right?
stress, I changed that to the abundance scale. So to me, if you're managing your abundance scale, you're managing your stress. So that's just so basically that's my little spiel in to say that, well, where are you at on the abundance scale and how do you get 1% better? So that's how I manage my stress, is by dealing with my abundance scale.
And so nutrition is different than
Yes. So
supplements.
nutrition is just how you eat. So whether you're following a vegetarian diet, no, I'm personally gluten-free, egg-free, and dairy-free. So what works for you? What makes you feel good? So I know eating an Oreo cookie is poison to me. Literally, I literally feel like horrible. Death warms over when that's awful. I can't
Really?
eat Oreo cookie. It's,
I could
oh my
eat three
God.
sleeves of
It
those
is
things.
deadly. It is deadly. I will
God, I love
literally
Oreos.
curl up in a ball after eating one Oreo cookie. So
I'll take all yours
so
if you get
so it's one
any.
of those things where, but I don't miss it because, why would I want to eat, why it doesn't make me feel good. I'm not going to eat something that makes me feel horrible. And so yeah, so
Right.
I went on a whole journey of so really how nutrition is what you eat, how you eat, and supplementation is filling in the gaps where your food isn't enough to, get you all that you need. So, I know for me, my food doesn't necessarily give me all the probiotics I need. So I take a probiotic. And so there's just, figuring out what your body needs to get to, the 10 level health is basically the journey. And what can I do? What symptoms do I have that I can solve by taking, like for me, when I hit menopause, finding supplements that could actually help with the hot flashes. Oh, it was just amazing. I still have them, but they're just nowhere near the intensity after supplementation. So it's kind of cool that you can find ways to just create, just a little bit better. Everything can be just a little bit better.
Interesting. Now, I had a thought here. So the stress management, I would almost think like if it's the six plate kind of thing, that if you have the other five plates balancing kind of well, that's almost like a large chunk of the six plate, the stress management. Like if you're hydrated, you exercise, you sleep, you do everything else, that's got to help
I would
with
think
the
so.
stress management, right? Or is there a
Well, I
whole
guess
other
when you
piece
think
to
about
it?
that, that's where the abundance scale comes in because that's your whole life. You got stressors going on, you got kids and you got, spouses and you got work and you got life, the whole, the whole stress of just being a human being, there's stress in just existing because there's, quite frankly, there's stuff going on in the world that sucks, like, that you just, you wish that everyone could just live a peaceful, happy life. And sometimes it's just not that way. There's things, there's rain happens, and storms happen, and we got to deal with them. We got to, figure out how, we're complex beings too. I mean, we can be sad and joyful sometimes at the same time because there's different things going on in our lives. Like, you'd be sad about this event, but really happy about this event. So I like to really give people permission to be the complex person they are and to feel all the emotions, not stay tethered to them. I mean, that's my favorite book is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And he really talks about how to really untether yourself from some of those emotions that get stuck in our body and we can't really let go of them. So really leaning into the example I created this own analogy. This is my analogy from after reading that book. So basically think of it like this. There's this massive river that's in front of you. And it's actually you can't even see the beginning of the river and it comes into your view and then it goes all the way around. Well, basically the emotional river is what this is. And basically an emotion comes in, let's say it's sadness. So dealing with some of my grief that I've had in my life. So I'll take it on for a little bit, process the grief, but you're not meant to stay in grief. You're meant to process it, go through it, and then put it back into the river of emotion and let it flow down river. And then it'll come back around again, but wait till it comes back around again. And then you take it out of the river and you try it back on again. So that's my image of what we're supposed to do with our emotions. So we're not supposed to cling to them, like stay in grief, stay there for weeks. We're meant to be in it for that temporary period that feels right for you, and then process it and then put it back in the river. And that process of processing can look different for different people, as to what that means. How do you process your emotions? But I really love the fact that we are complex beings and can be happy and sad and up and down and but you can still stay solid in your overall abundance and creating an abundant life, a life that you love, even though that there's storms that come.
Now, I know everything is kind of individual by the person, but are there any like kind of hard limits, like a how long is too long to be processing grief kind of thing? Like could 5 years be right
Yeah,
for
I
someone, or is it
actually
kind of like
the
no,
bad
5 years is
news
like crazy?
is that on my grief journey I realized I will never get rid of my grief. That it's a
Oh
lifetime
wow,
journey.
I thought
You
you were supposed to
do,
put it
you put it
back in
back
the
in the
river and
river,
let it float on
but it's going to always come back around again. It's going to come back
the
around
circular
again,
river.
so it's one of those things where I figured, so it's been 3 years since my husband passed, and I was on this journey of like, is it going to end? And I've figured out that no, it just never ends. It's transmuted. It's different every time it comes back around again, but it comes back around again, and we sit with it again, and you process. I think it's an accumulative effect too. As you get older, you got more and more losses that you deal with. And so it becomes not just the loss of my husband, but the loss of other things in my life. So you have to deal with all the losses, not just that one. So, and that's why sometimes when I deal with people, we're complex beings, remember? So, you get things caught up with your money. So money becomes this like symptom of all these other things that go on in your life, and they get connected. They get in your brain and body. They get all mixed up. And so just taking the time to be conscious and pulling the threads and making sure that you're processing, okay, let's process about money now, disconnecting everything else. Because things are not logical in our brain. We have to, actually, in
Right.
our hearts, sometimes we have to resort it. Maybe thoughts lie to us. We have thoughts that come in that are just not accurate, and we have to literally push them away. One of the favorite, I like that the Untethered Soul teaches that we're the observer. So you are observing your thoughts and you're observing your feelings. And so you're the observer, you're not the thought. So you can think a thought that you're a terrible
Right.
person, but if you're observing that, so you are not the terrible person. You're the person observing that you're having a thought. You're a terrible person. Therefore, it's easier. Yeah, so you
Right.
can
Who's the
actually
one
push
listening?
it away. Yeah, push that thought away. That's just not an accurate thought. And then allow it pivot and allow a new thought to come in that's, hey, I'm managing pretty good given all that I got going on, and slowly climb that abundance scale, find relief, and slowly make your way to above 5. Getting to neutral is probably the hardest journey, getting people that are below 5 to get to a 5, because that's neutral. And then slowly creeping your way up the abundance scale so that you can get to a really positive state.
Without going into anyone's personal details, anything like that, you kind of mentioned that one anecdote about someone who's making over 200,000. They couldn't even swipe their own card for a coffee, and then you transformed them over the course of time. Now they have 100,000 in savings. That's to me a great story. It's kind of like turning a disaster situation back into a master situation. Do you have any other ones that stick out, or some highlights, or some really like poignant moments or stories from the
Let's
people that
see.
you've coached?
A household that had one income, so the wife was staying home, and so things were a little bit tighter than usual, because of just the one income household. And they were probably the fastest builders of the budget. I had never seen anybody want to do it. So they were so ready. They came to me ready to build. They were above 5 on the abundance scale and just wanted to get this done. And they just had the skill set to just take the system and run with it, make it their own. And literally they were jumping from below 5 to up to like they were 7/8. And that's where the magic happens. Like, he got a promotion. I mean, I think all the time I've been working with him, he's gotten like 2 or 3 promotions. I mean, so I think they doubled their income. Literally, there's something magical that happens when you get your money under control. More money comes to you. It happens a lot. I'm not sure exactly. It's just magic. Blessings, God doing his, it's the force, whatever you want to call it. Whenever you climb the abundance scale, more abundance comes. It's just magical. And I love witnessing it every time. I get so excited because it happened again. It's like, yes, it's the journey to more than enough. It's like you open yourself up to allow the blessings to come. And so it was really hard in that first year, but once he got a raise, it got easier. And then once he got the next raise, it's like now they're right where they need to be. And they never increased their lifestyle. We could keep their lifestyle the same. The increase in income allowed them to do, it's just beautiful. So it's just an amazing journey to witness, that whole, it's just magical. It's magical.
Like some ways that are obvious and direct, and some ways, like you said, that almost seem magical. It's just like this like rampaging
Yep.
of
So
energy,
it's
but in a
just,
positive way.
they're just, I think you're stuck in your money. So one of the tricks too is sometimes when money is a real sore spot for people or a real lacking, you have to ignore it. You just you I mean, you still got to pay your bills and do things like that. You still have to, but I mean, from a mindset thing, don't focus on it. Don't focus on the lack there. Go to the areas that you have tons of abundance, because you probably have another area instead, like either in love or your kids or something is going well. Focus on what's going well so that you can then climb the abundance scale and then see that that will roll over into the other areas. So sometimes that helps too, is rolling into the other areas. You can make that happen.
Now, do you have any other kind of stories or anything else you want to highlight on, or anything else on your mind that maybe we have missed about this whole kind of
I
process, or
guess
do you
the
feel like
the
you've
one
kind of
thing that
fully
I
described
really
it?
want to stress is that it's all about you. And so when I say it's all about me and 1% better, you are the most important thing in this equation. And really doing self-assessment is the top plan for anyone right now, is knowing where you are and knowing where you want to go. It's just amazing on how that alone can get you just light years ahead of everyone else, is by doing the self-assessment.
Awesome. So, if people want to, follow you, or people want to kind of get into
Yeah.
you or follow this method, they want to do the abundance scale plus the PFC3, where are they going?
So Diamond Deb Bow, Bow, is my handle. You can find me there, and diamonddebbow.com is the place to find me. Yeah, and we can figure out how we can work together. And I'm looking forward to creating some small group work using the abundance scale and PFC3. So there's some really great stuff coming down the pipe. But you can also, you know, check my CPA firm out too as well, because I do private coaching as well. So we can figure out where to fit you into my my toolbox of kits that I can help people with. So,
Awesome. Now, I know you had said your main passion was the coaching, and that's what we focused on, so that makes sense. But before we're coming close to the end of the podcast here. Do you have any other personal passions or anything else you want to just mention about Deb, like Diamond Deb Bow herself? Or maybe where does Diamond Deb come from? You had
yeah,
pulled out a V Friends card.
yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah,
everyone knows V Friends. A lot of people do. But just any other kind of like Deb passion, positivity type things outside of
yeah,
the
yeah.
PFC3, the coaching, the
I guess
abundance scale.
what would I say? So I mean, make your life sparkle. I love my diamonds, so I love my rings. I love jewelry. So it's just one of those things where diamond, I don't know, it just made sense to me to have like a nickname on, because everyone has handles. So I just felt like I needed a handle, and I thought Diamond Deb was a really great handle. I have my Diamond Boss Bobcat card, which I just absolutely love. So it's just a lot of fun so this is my hobby. VFriend, CNC cards are a hobby of mine along with the NFTs. So it's just fun. So I think everybody needs to have hobbies and have things that bring them joy. And so I look forward to going to VCon in August. It's going to be such a blast. And I'm applying for the speaker. Um, so,
Yeah, that would be wonderful for sure. And for people who don't know, do you want to
oh
just
yeah,
like what is VCon or like Gary V type of thing? Just I mean, I know a lot of the people that we
yeah.
talk to know, but just in case anyone's listening who
I would
doesn't,
say I would
give a
say
short
Gary Vee
little
is the master of
blurb.
marketing. So if you are interested in marketing your small business or marketing your brand or anything related to that, Gary Vee is an amazing amount of content that you can create. Just enormous amounts of not only marketing insight, but just human insight, just to be a really great person. His 12 and a half book is amazing. VCon is just going to have an incredible 3 days of speakers, nonstop speakers, and I've been active in the community, so I can't wait to see a lot of people that I know online in person. Yes, it'll be so much fun. Hanging out at the To the Moon card shop at VCon will be great, because I'll get to see all my people that I bought cards with over the years and all the streaming people. So it'll just be a blast. It's going to have such a great time.
Do you have any big trades that you're trying to do, or any cards you're looking to
I love all the
secure,
V
that type of
cats.
thing?
So if it's a cat card, it belongs with me. So yes, I'll be looking for more cat cards. I definitely will be bringing any cards that I want to trade. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So it'll be a fun weekend of I have a box. I plan to open my box at VCon. So yeah, so it'll be fun to open my box.
Nice.
Yeah, live reveal with
A live
friends. I
reveal.
think I've decided that opening the box with people who don't really get VFriends is just not a lot of fun. But opening it with VFriend people, it's just like over the top. It's just amazing. So I can't wait to open my box at
Right.
VCon and yeah, along with other people, maybe do a box battle. Who knows? So it'll be fun. Yeah.
Nice. Box
No,
battle for
probably like
keepsies?
I don't know. We'll
For
probably
fun.
not keepsies. We'll figure it out. I probably won't. Yeah, and but it'll be fun. It'll just do something. I mean, that's what going to conferences are all about is going and having a lot of fun and meeting your friends, your online friends in real life. So that'll be great. So I'm looking forward.
Now you said you collect cat cards. Do you
No,
also
I
collect
don't.
actual
I do not
cats?
have any pets. We
Do you
actually
have
only have a bunny rabbit at our house. My son's bunny rabbit. But yeah, I've always loved cats. I don't know why I've been a cat fan. Ever since I saw the first very, very, very lucky black cat from from the V Friends. So I just love. I tried the silly story is I tried to buy the NFT. I thought it was $83
Yeah.
and 15 cents, and that was 83 ETH. So I floated up my
Oh
wallet
my
with
god.
$83.15, and when it said you need 100,000 more or something weird like that, it was like I forget what ETH was, but it was like too little
Yeah.
money because I had no idea there was a difference between ETH and dollars. I had no clue. I was so excited to buy my.
Yeah.
So I did. I actually loaded my wallet with it all. And actually, I'll have to go back and take a snapshot of that. Actually, the whole failed transaction. I
Kind of
wonder if
funny.
that's even recorded. Is the failed transaction recorded somewhere? Maybe. Uh-huh. Yeah,
I
so that'll
think
be
so.
funny. I'll have to
I
go
think
look
they
because
all
that
get
was my
recorded.
newbie experience
Blockchain.
um of trying to buy a black cat. But anyways, it's fun. And last night I was watching the to the moon stream. Mike was on there, who's the owner of the Hollow Black Cat NFT. How fabulous is that? And he was talking about the stress of moving that kind of money through his wallets to purchase it. I can imagine. I mean, I stress out about
Yeah.
a couple $100s. I can't even imagine, six digits going
You
through
have.
wallets and yeah, his stress. He was like the
Jesus.
stress of doing that. I'm like, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine, putting that kind of money out there. But it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
you fat thumb, you
oof.
put one
Yeah,
wrong
you're
number or
like triple
something and
checking
then
the
it's
wallet,
just
triple
gone.
checking. Yeah, yeah. No, blockchain technology. We know that technology is going to increase it, and people are not going to have to do this like heavy lift. It's going to become so behind the scenes. It's going to be wonderful. Knowing that we're early
Eventually.
on, and I know that we're going to get where it's going to be seamless for people. They're not going to even know that they're using a wallet behind the scenes. Yeah, it's
It
coming.
would
It's
be
it's
nice
around
to
the
get to
corner.
that
It's
point.
just we're still early. We keep forgetting we're early in the whole blockchain technology. It took a while for Web 2 to kick in. Web 1, Web 2, and now Web 3 will be around the corner, so it's fun. I have such an abundant perspective of life and excited about, my next 50 years. I consider every year another level. So I'm level 55 in the game of
Going
life.
up.
So it's like, it's really important that we think
I
about it
like
as
that.
levels. So I can't wait for the next level. It's fun. Getting older is fun. You get more levels. So yeah,
Speaking of levels, we are at the level of this podcast
perfect.
where we do keep it about an hour. We're kind of in the final 5-10 minutes kind of thing. Always on the podcast, the last 5-10 minutes, we do like a guest spotlight where we kind of just throw the guest the mic. And, if there's any self promotion thing you
Mhm.
want to do, I know you mentioned it before, you may be a speaker at VCon. So, you kind of touched on that. But if you want to retouch
Yeah,
on that or, re promote the
sure.
program or just throw your handle out again kind of thing, or any lasting messages that you want to leave with the audience. Kind of bypass me and then just talk
Yeah.
directly to the audience. Any messages you want to get out. If you want to take
Great.
5-10 minutes to do that, and then we wrap up. But
Wonderful.
now is the guest
I'm
spotlight,
going to
so
say,
I will
just
pass you the
remember,
mic.
it's all about you. It really, truly is about for you, the person listening to me speaking right now. I need you to really focus on what it is that you need in your life, not what your mother, brother, sister, uncle, spouse, nobody else. What is it that you want? I know I lived my life for other people for so many years, and I'm finally in a phase of it's all about me. My primary relationship is with myself. And if you can get to that place, even if you're in a relationship with someone, knowing that you still have to prioritize yourself. and making sure that you take care of yourself. Putting on your oxygen mask first. And every time they say it in the plane, they're not lying. You got to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help anyone else. And so think of it that way, that if you weren't so drained, if you weren't so this, how much more you could help others, how much more you could do for the world if you took good care of you. And that's where really it comes down to, is making sure that it is all about me, and then it's just 1% better. Be compassionate. You don't have to go from a 2 to a 10. It's 2 to 2.1. Every day is just a little bit better. Be compassionate, kind to yourself. Know that there's no comparisons. You're going to do something different than other people. So be really kind and generous and compassionate to yourself, like you are to other people. We have so much more grace for others than we do ourselves, you know? So really lean into, it's all about me, and take care of me. You know, I am a woman of faith. I definitely have a strong belief in God, the force, and um, it's really important that I believe that divine is within. And so it's one of those things where you really, God calls us to really take care of ourselves before we can really help others. And in my opinion, that's how I live my life, is making sure that I'm taking good care, spinning my 6 plates, and working my way up the abundance scale so that I can just spread this good news message that you can do 1% better. That's it. That would be my little spiel.
Awesome. And that's perfect timing. We love to hear it. So at this point, we will close out. You have been listening to Kowski's Talking About Life podcast with our guest today, Deb Bowman, and your host, me, Ian Lipkowski. We closed out kind of the same way we come in. So once again, gratitude
Thank
to
you for
Deb for
having me.
coming on here. We really appreciate you sharing your messages, sharing your coaching, providing that kind of open door, letting people know that you're actually someone who's here to help other people, and they can approach you, they can reach out to you. You're Diamond Debbo on all the platforms. You're helping with the abundance scale. You're helping with PFC3. You're helping people balance their 6 spinning plates of life, getting from, kind of like a disaster situation to a master situation, getting from the right mindset, the wrong mindset to the right mindset, getting to the place where you could have a budget and you could have abundance. So we really appreciate you coming on and
Yep.
sharing that. We may see you as a speaker at VCon. We'd love to see that. We'll see what happens. Best intentions and manifestations for that. Once again, we also give gratitude to the audience. Thank you so much, everybody who's listening, for coming on and listening. We really do appreciate that. And lastly, of course, again, gratitude to Source, the universe, the Tao, the yin, the yang, whatever the force, whatever it is you believe in there. We don't discriminate, but we do welcome people who believe in something, some sort of something that is beyond and above and intricate and interweaves and kind of holds everything together. That E
Yes.
equals MC squared, maybe even for some people. So we do give gratitude to that. And the last message that we always end with is, if you hadn't heard it today, you are loved.